Hi everyone, it's Christy Burcham here with Scissortail Studio, and today's project we are going to be making a 12-inch pillow. I love this pillow size. It's perfect for travel. It's a good back pillow. It's a cute little throw pillow or a good kid's pillow. I just love this smaller size throw pillow. We will be making a 12-inch pillow, so you need a 12-inch pillow form. The other thing I love about this size is it's perfect if you have an embroidery design or needlework project you want to feature. This is a really good size to make. This pillow is simple and it's a good one for beginners, especially if you're an advanced sewer and you're teaching a beginner. This is a really great project to do with them. It teaches a lot of techniques, and one technique that you'll learn is putting in a zipper, which is something a lot of times beginners are afraid of, and sometimes even those of us who've been sewing a while forget about how pretty a zipper can be in the back of a pillow. It really just adds that couture element to it, and it's so simple to do. So much faster, I think, than doing a lapped pillow, and much prettier results. Also, if you're doing a seasonal fabric like this, this is a Deb Strain fabric from Moda, and I love it, but it's kind of got a Valentine's feel for it. So by making a zipper pillow, I can change out this pillow cover more frequently and only have to store the covers and not all the individual pillows. You can make this out of a fat quarter if you have a fabric that is not directional. If your fabric is directional, then you're going to need 3/8 of a yard. So let's take a look at how this is done. Here's just a close-up of that pillow. The front side is just plain, although of course you could add embroidery to it. And this is the back side with the zipper in the back. We purposely set the zipper off center, and the reason we do that is if you're not exactly perfect, when you put it off center, then you can't tell. Whereas if you try to put it perfectly in the center and you're off by even just a ½ inch, it really shows up. So by setting it off-centered, it really looks nice. Plus it's really more pleasing to the eye to be sort of asymmetrical like this. So what supplies do we need for this project? Well, we need a fat quarter, as I said, if the fabric is non-directional, or 3/8 of a yard if the fabric is directional. You need a 14-inch zipper, a 12-inch pillow form, or you could make your own pillow form. You need a rotary cutter, ruler, cutting mat. You need some trimming scissors, sewing thread, your sewing machine, a zipper foot, and a regular sewing foot. If you are using a fat quarter, this is how you're going to cut your pieces. You need 3 pieces of fabric cut. You need a 12 by 12, a 9 by 12, and a 12 by 5. Now again, this is if you're using a fat quarter and you have a non-directional fabric. If you have a directional fabric, then you'd be using that 3/8 of a yard, and you'd cut a 12-inch strip first, and then cut a 12-inch square, a 5-inch rectangle, and a 9-inch rectangle, all out of that same 12-inch width of fabric. Once you've got those 3 pieces cut, we're going to start out with the 12 by 12. Just make sure you've got it cut nice and straight, and you're going to set it aside. Then you will have that 5 by 12 and that 9 by 12, and we're actually going to be adding the zipper to that. So the 5 by 12 and the 9 by 12 are the back. When we add the zipper, what we're going to do is we're going to lay the zipper face down with the edge of the zipper against the larger piece of fabric, so against the 9-inch by 12-inch piece of fabric, but along the 12-inch edge. So we've got that zipper. You can see it's a 14-inch zipper, so it just extends a little bit past that 12 inches. And again, face down along the 12-inch edge. And if you want to, you can pin this in place. Then we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and the first step we're going to do is we're actually going to zigzag over the edge, right along the edge of the fabric and the edge of the zipper. So we're actually overcasting the edge of the zipper and the fabric at the same time. I just used a regular sewing foot for this, and just adjusted my position of my fabric so that the needle, when it swung to the right, was just to the outside of the fabric. If you wanted to, you could use an overcast foot with this, but I just used my regular sewing foot. Now what you'll see is you have a just an overcast edge with just that basic zigzag. I used a pretty wide zigzag because the purpose really here is just to tack the fabric to the zipper and also to kind of finish the edge of the zipper of the fabric to keep it from raveling. Because it's going to be inside the pillow, it doesn't need to be super secure, but it is nice to have that finished edge. So that's what it looks like when you've got it stitched in place. Remember, again, this is the 9 by 12 inch piece that we start with. And now we're going to take it to our ironing board. And as you can see, this was before I changed my ironing board cover. We do have a tutorial we just put up on our website about how to make your own ironing board cover. And this was the reason I needed to make a new one because it was getting pretty grungy. Anyway, so what we're going to do next is to fold back the fabric. So we take that fabric and zipper to the ironing board and we fold it back, and we want that fold of that fabric to be right up next to the teeth of the zipper. So as you can see, we're going right up next to the teeth of the zippers where we want that fold to be. And then we're going to just press that into place really good, nice and crisp. Next, we're going to put our zipper foot on our sewing machine, and we're going to come in and basically edge stitch this fold right next to the coils of the zipper. So you can see I've got my zipper foot positioned so that the edge of the foot is right up next to the coils, and then I'm basically edge stitching right along the edge of that fold. And we'll see here, this is what that end result looks like. I just think it looks really nice and professional when you've got that edge stitch right up next to the coils of the zipper. Now we need to put the other side of the zipper on. So we've stitched the first side on and we've top stitched it into place, and now we are going to do the other side. So we take it back to our work table. We take the 5 by 12 inch piece and lay it right sides together with the zipper, and we're going to zigzag the edge just like we did with the 9 by 12 inch piece, but with the 5 by 12. So we will zigzag along this edge with these two pieces, with the zipper and the fabric right sides together. So you can see here, that's the zigzagged edge. Okay, now what we need to do, we've got this zigzagged in place. We're going to flip that back over similar to the way we did with the 9 by 12 inch piece. But when we flip this one over, we're actually creating the lap. So like you can see on this pillow project, there is a lap over the zipper that's hiding that zipper. So we need to create the lap by how we fold the fabric back over the zipper. So the way we do that is place the 12 by 12 inch piece of fabric onto your workspace, and then you're going to place your zippered back fabric on top of that. So you're going to be placing them actually so that the piece that you're going to fold back, the 5 by 12 inch piece, is wrong side up. So you can see it there. And now what we want to do is we're going to fold back, so we're going to flip back this piece of fabric so the edge of the fabric lines up with this 12 by 12 inch piece. So our end goal is that the back piece is also 12 by 12, and we're taking a fold in this 5 by 12 inch piece in order to make that back piece be the same 12 by 12 inch size that the top is. So we're going to flip this piece over, and it's going to look like this. So you can kind of see how we've flipped it over, but we've created a lap over the zipper. So the fold itself in depth is about an inch or so in depth from where we zigzag the edge to the edge of that fold. We just want to make sure that that fold, the whole piece, ends up being 12 by 12, and that fold completely covers the zipper. And then we want to press that really good, press it into place, press a nice crease into that fold. Now we're going to take this back to the sewing machine and we're going to edge stitch, but this time when we edge stitch, we're edge stitching through both layers of fabric on this flap right next to the zipper coils. So I've repositioned my zipper foot so that I'm now sewing on the other side of the zipper foot, but I'm still placing in this case the left edge of the zipper foot right up next to the coil, and that's why I've got my finger here in this picture, is to show you that that's where the coil is. I can put my finger on the coil so that I can feel it and know exactly where it is and make sure that the edge of my zipper foot is right up next to that coil. And then again, we're going to stitch, basically edge stitch, right up next to those coils, just as close as you can get to those coils without stitching through them. And this is what it looks like when you finish that stitch. So you can see that the little flap covers now the zipper, is completely covered by that flap. Well, we can't see the zipper until we open it up. And then that stitch holds the flap in place. Now, before we sew the two layers together, the top fabric to the back fabric, we need to secure the zipper closed. Well, first we need to open the zipper so that we don't end up with the zipper pull on the outside of the pillow. Otherwise, we won't be able to open the zipper. So we need to pull the zipper pull into the pillow. But then once we've pulled it in there, we want to close the gap between these so that it sews nice and neat. You could just pin it in place, but for extra insurance, especially if you're a beginner, you might want to bar tack it. So what I've done here is I've set up my sewing machine for a bar tack. Your sewing machine may already have a bar tack built in, so you can just select the bar tack stitch, but if not, you can go to your sewing machine, and here I've set my stitch length really short to just 0.3, and then I've set my width pretty wide to a 7, which is the setting on my sewing machine. So you want a fairly wide zigzag, but a really short stitch, because you just want it to go back and forth over the same area. So then we set the zipper under the foot and zigzag back and forth, just making sure that the needle is going to the left side of the coil and then to the far right side of the coil, and capturing both sides of that coil. And then you can see here, that's what that bar tack looks like. That just holds those in place. It gives you a little extra insurance with your zipper stop, although once you sew this together, your layers together, your zipper won't go past where your seam is. But it also keeps the zipper together while we're stitching the whole pillow together. Next, we're going to clip off the excess zipper, and we can do this on both sides. We don't need that end of the zipper anymore. And we don't need to worry about the edge of the zipper, because we're going to be sewing the top to the bottom. So that'll be the closed end for both ends of our zipper. So on both ends, just go ahead and clip that zipper flush to your 12 by 12 pillow. Now we're going to place the whole back onto our workspace, and then put the whole top on front of it, right sides together, and pin. So I've got my cute little leaf pins that we've pinned it together with. And now we're going to take this to the sewing machine and stitch it with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So you can see here, I'm just going to stitch along one side. When I get to the corner, I'm going to stop 1/2 inch from the end, and then stop with the needle in the fabric, lift the presser foot, turn the fabric, and now stitch down the next side, again using the 1/2 inch seam allowance. And we want to do that on all 4 sides. We don't need to leave an opening to turn the pillow, because we've got an opening in our zipper. So we go all 4 sides, and you can see here, this is where I finished up, and I just need to trim my threads. I like to stitch over where I started just a little bit to secure everything in place. And you can see just barely here the corner, that's our finished corner. If we want to really have good finished corners and have nice corners that turn out straight, it's nice to clip the corners. This will make it so when you flip the pillow right side out, the corners are nice and straight. So go ahead and clip the corners at the seam allowance there. And then this step is optional, but I think it's really nice, especially if you're going to be taking the pillowcase off and on your pillow form, is to go ahead and finish the edges with an overcast stitch. You could also use a serger, but for a project this small, I just zigzagged overcast the edge of the project. So now we've actually finished the whole thing. We've stitched overcast all 4 sides of the pillow. You can see we've got the opening here. And everything is ready to turn it right side out. So we're going to turn it right side out through the zipper. You may need to unzip that zipper a little bit more in order to turn it a little easier. So we'll turn it right side out. Once I get it turned right side out, I want to press it. I really think it finishes the pillow nicely if we go ahead and press those edges. Make sure we're pressing them all the way up to the edge of the pillow and press the corners to give it a nice crisp finish. And then we insert our pillow form and our project is done. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions for me about this particular project, you can leave me a comment in the comments area below, or visit our website, which is scissortailstudio.com, and you can leave me a message there. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/scissortailstudio. You can leave us a comment there, or you can send us an email to Christy, CHRISTY, at scissortailstudio.com, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. If you are a sewing educator, whether it's in a school system or in a local quilt shop or local sewing shop, and you'd be interested in using this particular lesson, this PowerPoint, there is a way that you can get this PowerPoint for free to use in your classroom. Just contact me through one of those methods and I'll get you the details about how you can use the PowerPoint from this lesson. Thanks so much, and we hope you join us again.